Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Hooded Cobra Commander. No, it's actually not Hooded Cobra Commander, although there is a hood that looks a lot like Hooded Cobra Commander. This is actually Soldiers of Fortune from Big Bad Workshop. This is the Agent, the enemy, and we've been waiting a long time for these figures, and once again, you probably see me do a lot of the Operation Monster Force. They come out of the exact same company, so you're going to see a lot of mixing and matching. You're going to see a lot of the same head sculpts, a lot of the same bodies and different things like that. But the one thing that they did was they gave us a executioner mask in blue that looks a lot like, once again, Hooded Cobra Commander. So we're going to open this up. We're going to take a look at everything. I do have a couple Cobra Commanders that we will compare it to. See if you can pop the hood on there. You might need a little bit of sticky tack. It's hard to say, but we'll see how much the colors actually match up. And I have a couple other figures. And then we'll also take a look at one of the Operation Monster Force characters and see how the buck compares to it and if it is the same. So anyway, here we have the the cover that is actually going to open up. It just slides off, so you can reuse this if you're someone who, like me, that wants to put stuff back in at times, if you ever wanted to resell it. So open your toys and have fun with it, as it's going to be an easy thing. Mythic Legions and a lot of the other higher end toy store figures actually come with. On the back, we get Soldiers of Fortune Series 1, and there is all the figures that we're going to see. Now, I only have two because only two are available right now. We got this guy right here, the Spy, so we'll be getting to him later on in these reviews. And then when the rest of the figures come in, we'll go ahead and do that. But let's get into this. I'm excited. We've been waiting a long time. I know people have been waiting for a Hooded Cobra Commander, and I think this is going to appease people until a Hooded Cobra Commander does come from Hasbro. But before we do, if you like this type of stuff, you've been looking forward to the Soldiers of Fortune reviews by me, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I start to drop the Soldiers of Fortune. All right, so we got the Agent out of his plastic prison, and this is what I was trying to say about the box. This just slides open like this. If you want to do that, then you just have to cut the figure, not to cut the figure, but break the band to get it out, and then this thing just will slide right back up. So open your figures, have a good time with them, play with them. That's what they're there for. So as we can see here, I have a couple Cobra Commanders. I have one of the old Regal Cobra. I think is that Regal Cobra Commander. I think it might be just regular Cobra Commander. We have our mask and everything. So let's start off with what he does come with. So just like the other Operation Monster Force, the Fresh Monkey Fiction figures, they come with 2 blast effects. Normally they come with 3. This one's only coming with 2. So we get the smaller blast effect. All right, nice translucent orange. It's going to plug directly into it. You can kind of see the burst, and then you can see where the bullet's supposed to be coming off of. Here's a little bit bigger one, probably for the M4 or M16, whatever M platform that is. Once again, you have the burst coming. You got the nice translucent. There is no painted bullet or anything, but I'm okay with that. It does look good. I do like these blast effects. I do think they look pretty nice. And then we get the smoke effect, which is one of my favorite things. This here is one of those things you can really show off when you're doing photography where they've just got done firing their weapon. It is a smoky translucent, or it might just be the color of the plastic, but it looks kind of smoky. And it does look nice. And I'm glad that I have multiple companies that are doing them, because all smoke effect is going to look a little bit different. So he does come with 3 pairs of hands. So we're going to get the punchy hands, which are right here. All right. You can see the nice knuckles on it. You can see the bone structure all running through it, all the way down to where you can see his fingernails. We get the trigger fingers. 2 of them, which I think they're pretty essential, that he has trigger fingers, trigger hands. Once again, you can see the bone structure kind of going through it. Now, you don't have a lot of veins like some of the other companies, and they seem to heavily paint some of their stuff. At least that's how it feels to me or looks to me. So just like these are more like heavily painted rather than in the actual plastic color. All right, we have two different types of pistols. Here we have this pistol here. We get the nice grip. We can see some rivets holding the handle together. We got the trigger guard on the trigger. You get your safety lock. There you have your port for blast effect, your slide. These are designed by Gridiron. All right, so I can take the blast effect and hopefully it should plug directly into it without a problem. Here we have this, I think this is a new weapon I haven't seen. And if I look at this, it kind of gives me an idea of like, hey, we're kind of giving you like a Cobra Commander weapon in some ways with the barrel. So we have this interesting grip here. We get the trigger guard. What looks like is some sort of iron sight up there. We got the port for blast effect. You can see where the holes are supposed to be, so it can kind of vent out. And again, blast effect plugs in extremely nicely. We have the M4, or this might actually be an M16 to be honest. All right, looking at this again, designed by Gridiron. It looks like it has some sort of a wash on it. It's supposed to have a collapsible stock, which doesn't move. We got the grip. We got your trigger guard and your trigger. There you have your different sliders. I think for one is for the 3-round burst, single shot. Your safety right there. You get your short barrel. There's your iron sight. You got your grip right there. A removable magazine. All right. Once again, the port for blast effect, and we can plug that in pretty nicely. Normally I start off with the stand, but I completely forgot. So we have a new style stand from Big Bad Workshop. Just says Soldiers of Fortune. It is embroidered on. It kind of looks like a sticker. It is not. So the way that it is printed on, it kind of sticks up a little bit. You got 2 ports or 2 pegs for standing. It doesn't tell you who it's to, which, all right, that's fine. I'm probably never going to use it. But something like this is actually pretty nice if you're just displaying your figures and, you know, it tells you, you know, who it is. It's Soldiers of Fortune. Again, I don't really care for stands. I've made that abundantly clear. We're going to get to the hood last, all right? All right, so as for the figure, I thought this was just a repaint of this guy, and it is, well, it is very close. It is very close to the, I believe this is a Black Watch agent. All right, so looking at this guy, he does have some nice slicked hair. And as you look at it, it does look good. They give you a lot of depth here. We got these sunglasses that are just painted on it. He never needs to take them off. All right, ears look pretty good. You're not going to see any eyes from it. Now, unfortunately, because this is the normal color, the top of it is definitely on the glasses missing a little bit. Like that should have had some paint on it. It would have really made it pop a little bit better in pictures. This one somewhat has some of it. They're the exact same head sculpts, as you can tell. All right, we get down to a collared shirt. We have the a red tie just running down. Then we get his actual suit here. This one here is held on by one button. You can see the nice wrinkles through it. And then you have the 2 pockets right here. Now that is what is different about this one, is that it is the same except for they actually pinned this together. So actually it looks like both buttons are actually holding it together. But it is the same type of suit. Yeah, very similar suit. This one is just closed where this one is not. Other than that, I think it's the exact same. We get down to his arms here, just kind of scrolling all the way down. We can see the wrinkles in it. It does give that feel of a real suit. Because of the back, and this is a very pliable piece right here, there is no hole in the back to put a backpack on him. All right, going straight down, we got the pleat in the suit pant. And then right down to his dress shoes, he's going to have some, I would assume, I'm not going to say this for sure and someone yell at me, I'm assuming he has some black socks on. A little bit of a heel right there. when you do look, almost looks like he's got two of the same feet. But I think they're supposed to be designed so they're inner. No, he definitely has. He has two left feet. Does he not? That is two left feet. I'm gonna have to look at that a little more. But it looks like this one cuts in here. Yeah, I think he has two left feet. So that's one issue right there. And I mean, looking at it, I'm gonna have to contact BBTS. I've had no issues whenever I've had to contact them to say, hey, you know what? Something needs to be, something needs to be addressed here. And usually they take care of it pretty quickly. But this looks like he has, that he is sporting two left feet. But I'm gonna compare it a little bit more, not just over the camera here. All right, as for the articulation on this figure, he can look up and he can look down, tilts his head side to side, and can turn either way. Perfect T-pose, swivels at the shoulder and at the bicep. He's got double pinless elbows, very smooth. Hands are going to swivel. So same as what any of your Operation Monster Force figures are. You are going to only have so much maneuverability, especially with this. But even with this type of cut, you only get so much articulation coming from the diaphragm cut. That's why I say I like the ab crunch better, but with something like this, it gets in the way. Turn side to side. Now he also should have butterfly joints, but again, I can't really see the butterfly joints because this is going to get in the way. So underneath here, I would assume, actually no, well, he does have butterfly joints. They don't seem like they're cut properly, but I think they probably looked at this and said, hey, these guys here are going to be wearing a suit. There's no reason to design it, but that's not true because maybe you just want to do a dress shirt figure, and now that figure is going to lack having the butterfly joints. And there are other figures we really don't have that issue with. All right. So his Jean-Claude Van Damme is not the greatest. That's his Jean-Claude Van Damme. That seems... He can sit straight, so if you're going to sit him in a Mezco Rumbler, a ramen van, you can. Very smooth knees right there. And we get down here. He does not have a... Well, he doesn't have a thigh cut, and he definitely does not have a boot cut, but that should be all intertwined underneath here, so the boot cut is actually hidden up underneath there. I'm still looking at these. It just looks like that foot is like they're two of the same foot. Unless if they're swapped. That's something I'm just going to have to look at once I'm done doing this part of the review, taking a look at it. Okay, but you all came here for Hooded Cobra Commander, so that is what we are going to address. So these figures, their heads usually pop off pretty easily. Their necks also are meant to come out. So if you buy a head pack from the Operation Monster Force, the head pack that they're going to be getting for this, you can swap out the neck. You can swap out the hands also. So if you're going to have a black figure, you can swap that around. Anyone that's of different color, if it's a Black Watch agent. So that is how easy the hands actually pop out. A lot of people have complained, I know with the earlier figures, about how short the peg is here for the wrist. I don't have any issues with it. It's nothing that I would say that you need to worry about. All right, and then we're gonna pop that on right there. So now he is up, has his trigger fingers, and then the mask is going to, or the hood, pop right on. Now, if you want, and yes, they did this on purpose. If you look at the figures that they are creating, there are a lot of figures that have a specific homage to other characters owned by Hasbro, Palitoy, different things like this. So if you want a Cobra Commander that is hooded, that's in his dress suit, here you have him. Absolutely looks good. I mean, it reminds me of the Cobra Commander hooded, like the Hooded Cobra Commander. Looking at it here, we can see all the wrinkles just kind of dropping through it. It's got a couple lines going this way. Then we can look at his eyes, and those eyes actually do look, they look really good. And it matches all really nicely. Now we can take the M16, M4. I know someone's going to correct me. I think it's actually a short-barreled M16, but it might even say on that for all I know. It is a gridiron designed. So if we want to kind of mess around with this figure, you can pry the hands open. They're pliable enough. We can have him grab the barrel, and then he can go ahead and start firing. Right? Even with his 2 left feet. All right. If we want to drop and have a pistol, how does the pistol look? Once again, now he has nowhere to hold it, doesn't have any holster, but that would make sense. It would be hidden inside his, on his breast there. All right. So there you go. That is like your Hooded Cobra Commander. Now, the question that you might be looking at is like, hey, why did you bring all the Cobra Commanders down? Well, I quickly looked at them. This one over here, this is the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander. Came with the hiss. And if you look at the color, doesn't really match that well. Hooded Cobra Commander was a darker blue. So that's the reason for this one here. You can see it doesn't match also. So that's a little disappointing. But I did realize this one here looks like it may be the closest color. So if we pop this head off here, I haven't tried popping this off, so he should have a different size peg because this is one of the newer figures. So what you can see here, they have different size neck pegs. So what you would need is some sticky tack. But that color actually fits pretty well, to be 100% honest, all right? Luckily, I bought one from, I bought an extra one from Ross that I found. And now, again, his head is super loose. So get some sticky tack, put that up on here, and you're going to have a nice Hooded Cobra Commander that does have a different variant of the color. And again, maybe you go to Ross. I know they have a bunch of these at Target. They're not on sale, but if you want to swap them out, you can. So there is like your Hooded Cobra Commander. He fits absolutely perfect. As I kind of mentioned, these are all the exact same bodies. The suit is the only thing different, and that is that this is supposed to be buttoned up. But everything else is the exact same. There will be a lot of reuse and a lot of repaint with these figures. Now, I grabbed this guy because I believe he has the wrong size peg too. I was hoping that you'd be able to swap his head on here. Now, he is a different skin tone. You could shave this down if you wanted to. You could dremel out the head here. I wouldn't do that. I would probably shave down this because you'll have extra necks for here. But you could easily make a suited Zaymot and Tomax if you are interested. Again, you'd have to shave this down. The color is a little different, but when you start looking at it, you're probably not even going to notice once the head sets a little bit lower. Up to you. There's probably other skin tones like this guy here. He looks like he's a little bit of a different skin tone. Definitely a different skin tone. So there are a lot of different things that you can do. That is the reason why I brought this over. Looks like he was using one of the different pegs before all of this. So that's really it. That is your Soldiers of Fortune, the Enemy. And yeah, there's, I think you guys just got your chance to have Hooded Cobra Commander. And once again, this buck is available. You will need sticky tack. I will get sticky tack before I finish this up and obviously do my picture. So let's wrap this up. All right, so there you go. That is your Soldiers of Fortune, the enemy. There he is in the blue suit. And there is a Hooded Cobra Commander. I know people have been waiting so long, and I don't think you're going to have to wait much longer. I mean, in real life for a Hasbro one. But hey, who knows? It's just rumors that we hear. A little bit of blue tack. Sticky tack is what it's called. Go on Amazon. This one just happens to be blue, which actually fits the color. And it will just pop on there and it'll hold perfectly fine. It's not going to feel the exact same, but you don't need a lot. Again, even if you're doing pictures, you're not going to give it to a kid to play with because you will lose the head. What does suck is that this is, this face here, the figure this goes with is the one with the actual mask. They all have the mask. The chrome mask that you can actually see. Vac metal, that's it. But anyway, there you go. Maybe you're not into G.I. Joe. Maybe just one of Soldiers of Fortune. Maybe you've been waiting on these. Well, I think this is a good figure. I do have to look into this foot here. It's definitely the wrong foot. It's driving me nuts. It's definitely going to drive me absolutely mad. So I am going to have to contact them because I'm going to take pictures, send it out to them and say, hey, you know what? You sent me a figure with 2 left feet. Can you take care of that? Because it's definitely going to cause a problem for him to stand. These feet are not the greatest to stand to begin with. And I don't use stands because it just ruins your display. But I'm going to get out of here, okay? You now have a Hooded Cobra Commander if you want to do that. Again, they match the color pretty damn well. And then you have a spy, enemy spy, or whatever he is, bodyguard, whatever. But I'm out of here. You spend a lot of time. If you like when I drop these types of videos, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a Soldier of Fortune review. Oh, there's going to be so many more. But I'm going to get out of here. You might be thinking, hey, what else have you done? Well, I've done a lot of Big Bad Workshop stuff in the form of Operation Monster Force, and I'll leave a video right here. And down here will be a playlist of all the Big Bad Workshop / Fresh Monkey Fiction stuff that I reviewed. Take care.